Hey everyone, it's Sheetabella and I'm back at you with a new video. Today I'm going to be talking about my Hagwon horror story. Oh my gosh, I had such a horrible experience at this place. I've worked at a Hagwon. I worked at two actually. So one is a Hagwon, but the other one technically is a Yuchuan, which is a kindergarten. Hold on. Sorry about that. I had to go turn off my speaker. I got the job by recommendation. I had finished my first Hagwon job and I was looking to get a new job because I didn't quite want to leave Korea yet. My friend recommends me the Yuchuan job because she was working there and she was about to leave to go to a new job, still within Korea but just somewhere else. So she's like, hey, it's pretty easy. It's not that bad. The hours and stuff like that is pretty simple. You're pretty much playing with kids for a job, so you know you take my job. I'll recommend you to my boss or whatever. So I was like, all right, bet, you know, sounds awesome. I do all the process of working or putting in my paperwork and all that at this job before I go back to the States for a little bit during the holidays, because this happened around Christmas of 2018 going into 2019. So I did all my paperwork, I got the job secured, and then I left for a couple of months. Then I came back to Korea and I started at this job. So when I started working here, it was okay. These kids were quite young that I was working with, and I've never worked with young kids before, so I don't even know what that's like. But when I was trying to apply to this job, they reassured me that it wasn't going to be difficult. All the curriculum was already pre-planned and stuff like that, so I wouldn't have to plan any class material or anything like that. I would just have to come in, do the routine, and then leave. So I was like, okay, cool, like that sounds pretty doable. I know I don't have any experience working with young kids like this, but I don't see how hard it can be. Like, how hard can it be really? So I started working there, and like I said in the beginning, it wasn't so bad, but then it got really bad. I wouldn't say quickly, but pretty quickly. So the first few months wasn't as bad, you know. My friends had warned me that the principal at the school was kind of a dictator and kind of a tyrant, and everybody was a little bit afraid of her, but they reassured me that not to worry because she's not going to be at the school all that much. Well, if she's not going to be there often, then it shouldn't be as bad. I probably have to deal with it maybe once or twice or something like that. It wasn't once or twice. I'm going in thinking, this is gonna be super simple. This is gonna be easy. Like, I have no worries. I'm just like, all I have to do is sing and dance with kids for a couple of hours a day, and I get paid for that, and I can do whatever the heck I want outside of this. Like, I'll just take a year off to do this really quickly, and then, you know, get my stuff together on the outside, like work on my portfolio or whatever else that I want to work on when I'm not working this job. So it sounds good at the time. Every time I come in, there is usually this log that I have to sign off on every day, and usually this log has notes from each homeroom teacher, and there was about, I want to say 4 or 5 homeroom teachers. There's one homeroom teacher for each group of kids. Actually, there's more than probably 5. So for each age and each group, they have a different homeroom teacher. So I was dealing with maybe about 9 or 10-ish homeroom teachers. Each day they would make a list of things that I can improve on, things that I were doing well. It wouldn't be a problem. I would have no problem with these complaints if they would teach me or help me figure out how to fix it. But rarely did they ever do that. There was this one teacher in particularly that I just know she did not like me. She always had like a laundry list, like a freaking Elder Scroll of things that I needed to prove on every single day. And any day I came in, the list just got longer and longer and longer. And I didn't know how to fix it. Like, I would ask them, okay, so what do you want me to do instead? They would never have an answer for me. And my supervisor would tell me, oh, it's all right, don't worry about it too much. Like, just go and do your best. I didn't know what to do. Like, anytime I would come into work, I would kind of dread it because I knew whenever I came in, there was going to be some sort of complaint coming towards me. And I would not know what to do about it because they wouldn't tell me what to do about it. They would just complain at me and then expect me to solve it without giving me any solutions. Yeah, just kind of quickly snowballed after, I'm going to say, maybe 3 or 4 months of being there. I continued working there. The complaints kind of started to build up and build up and build up. Basically, we sang and danced. Basically, think of like the Wiggles, or we don't watch the Wiggles anymore. What's a kid's show that's on these days?
I'm Peppa Pig.
Basically, it's like a kid's show, but a preschool classroom that is like a live action kid's show. That is what my job was. So basically, I would sing and dance and read them stories. So what they would complain about is because I didn't stand up during the songs. So I would kind of sit and like clap in my chair with them, and they would get mad because I wasn't standing up and like, what am I doing with my life? For one, I didn't know I had to stand up. Like, if they would have told me, okay, hey, it's probably better if you stand up when you sing to them, it gets the kids more engaged, blah, 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 I would understand. But they didn't. They would just get angry and frustrated with me and not communicate why they were angry and frustrated with me. So I think that I'm fine. I don't think that I'm messing up or doing anything wrong. Meanwhile, they have all these sorts of complaints. I think a lot of it too was just like he said, she said type of stuff. So the homeroom teacher would complain to my supervisor, and the supervisor would come to me and tell me their complaints. And then like things would get skewed, and there's a lot of miscommunication because they only speak Korean, I only speak English. So, we don't understand each other. And they're frustrated with some of the things that I'm doing, but I don't know that, I don't recognize that because I can't talk to them to get the feedback. That was one thing that I was worried about. I constantly was telling them, hey, I'm really a bit worried about that. I don't really speak Korean at all. The teacher that was there before me, she knew both Korean and English, so she was kind of at an advantage with that. Me, no, I can't talk to them. So they would get really frustrated with me and not know how to communicate that with me. And I think that's where a lot of the frustration came from. Eventually, too, the kids' behavior started to get really, really, really terrible. Like, they stopped listening to me after a while, and I'm not really sure why. Maybe it's just they didn't like me. Maybe I wasn't entertaining enough for them. I think they started to think that my classes were boring. I was working on other stuff outside of this job, so it was not my number one priority. But when I was there, I at least tried to give it my, I wouldn't say my all, but I did try to put in the effort. I didn't go above and beyond for this job. I didn't find it necessary. They told me that I wouldn't have to do any like extra outside work when I got here. Like, all of these things were told to me before I even applied to this job. I was not prepared for that. So when they started demanding all these things of me, I'm just like, I didn't sign up for this. Like, I signed up for what was told to me. All of this extra stuff is not what I signed up for. Okay, so I just wanted to clarify some of the points that I was making because I feel like it's a little bit unclear. So when I first signed up for this job, they told me that all the curriculum was pre-planned and I wouldn't have to do any work outside. Like, I wouldn't have to do any teacher planning outside. Like, everything was already within the curriculum. Like, I wouldn't have to go home and take home work and stuff like that. So when they started asking me to do those things, I was like a little bit weirded out, and I started questioning it because that wasn't initially presented to me. Okay, so I just want to clear that up. When it got to be around August, they have this show that they hold for the parents every year, and this show is like to showcase how the kids are learning for the year, how their English is progressing and stuff like that. And this is when the principal came in. Okay, so for the most part, up until this point, I never really saw the principal that much. Most of the time she was nice when I did see her. So she would say, hello, how are you doing? How are you getting along with your classes? And I was like, oh yeah, I'm good, chilling. So, when I was seeing her around the school, it was no bad blood, it was copacetic. Until this month, until the month of August, and all the months past that, then that's when things got real. This show was coming up, so we had to start planning and changing up the curriculum to kind of train the kids for what to say so that they can practice for the show. So usually we would have like different songs, and we would have like scripts that the kids had to follow verbatim. Like they wanted the kids to follow it word for word so that the kids looked as if they were learning the English language. But basically they were just repeating what we tell them, like they were just following the script. But needless to say, this is what the school wanted, so I had to do it. To have them tell me that I was the reason that these kids didn't want to come back anymore. That was a pretty brutal and heavy turning point for this whole thing. So they gave me an ultimatum. They were like, either you listen to us or you're fired.